friends, what's up and welcome to another session of English literature. So friends, today's topic of discussion is a detailed description of the 7 deadly sins. So in this video, you'll get to know about the names of the 7 deadly sins and their detailed description and their origins and the opposite virtues of the 7 deadly sins. So watch the video till the end. Here you go. So at first we have to know that what are the 7 deadly sins. So the 7 deadly sins can be thought of as disposition towards sin and separation from God. The name of the 7 deadly sins are pride, covetousness, wrath, gluttony, sloth, envy and lechery. And the opposites of these sins are the 7 virtues. They are humility, meekness, charity, chastity, moderation, zeal and generosity. So now we have to know about the origin of 7 deadly sins. So the 7 deadly sins have their origins in Greek mythology. The original concept behind the 7 deadly sins were listed as 7 evil thoughts in Greek by monk Pentecost, who was the 4th century monk. So according to him, the evil thoughts were gastrimarchia, which means gluttony, porneia, which means prostitution or a kind of lust, philargyria, which means avarice, hyperphania, which means pride or arrogance, life, which means envy, orge, which means wrath, and akadia, which means dejection. So now let's jump into our next section, which is a detailed description of the 7 deadly sins. So at first we have to know about pride. So pride is the excessive belief in one's own abilities that interferes with the individual's recognition of the grace of God. It has been called a sin from which all other sins arise. It is also known as vanity. So pride is a kind of first and the most dangerous sin. Now the next one is covetousness or greed. So greed or covetousness is like lust and gluttony. It is a sin of desire. Greed mainly applied for the artificial desires and for the desire of material possessions. In Summa Theologica, which means the summary of theology, Thomas Aquinas wrote that greed is a sin against God, just as all mortal sins. In it, as much as man condemns things eternal for the sake of temporal things. So now, the next is wrath or anger. So wrath is a kind of uncontrolled feelings of anger, hatred, rage, of vengeance, of taking revenge, etc. And the next one is gluttony or gula. So gluttony is the overconsumption of anything to the point of waste. Okay, so it means that excessive desire for food. In Christianity, it is considered a sin if the excessive desire for food causes it to be withheld from the needy. Now the next is sloth. So sloth is the avoidance of physical or spiritual work. It is a kind of laziness. It is called sloth. So it can be defined as absence of interest or habitual disinclination to exertion. It also refers as a failure to do things that one should do. Thus, sloth refers to laziness and it is a sin of omitting responsibilities or escaping from responsibilities. Now the next one is envy, which is quite important. So envy is like jealousy. It is a desire for one's traits, status, abilities or situation. So now we have our next and the last sin, which is lechery or lust. So lust is usually a thought of intense sexual desire which leads to fornication, adultery, rape, bestiality and other sinful activities. However, lust could also mean the lust for money, power and other sinful acts. So friends, these were all the informations regarding the 7 deadly sins. I hope that this video will help you and if you find it helpful and useful, then please like, share and comment on this video and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. So bye bye and see you in the next session very soon.